Today, I'm honored to welcome the inspiring Ina Bajaj, owner of the internationally acclaimed East Day Spa and beloved spring spa locations across Bali. Ina's journey is remarkable, from running restaurants in New Zealand to building some of the world's most stunning spas across Asia Pacific. In our conversation, she shares her passion for creating beautiful spaces, leading with grace, and inspiring teams through her dedication to work and the people behind it. Welcome to my podcast, Through the Looking Glass, Bali, Hospitality and Beyond. Ina, good morning. Thank you for having us here today.
Pleasure.
Let's start with the question I ask everyone on this podcast. How did your journey in hospitality started, and what is your background?
My background is restaurants, actually. So in 1989, I started an Indian restaurant, a curry house in Wellington, New Zealand. Originally, I was brought up, I'm originally from Kenya, and then my parents migrated to New Zealand when I was 8. So I did all my schooling, but I was actually always an entrepreneur. I was never an academic kind of person, and I just saw I can't cook, to be honest, and I'm a terrible cook, but I saw a gap in the market and thought, this is what the city needs, and that's how I got into hospitality.
Wow. Restaurant is not the easiest business to start with.
It is the most difficult business ever. I applaud every single restaurateur in the world. It is. I did it for 10 years, between the ages of 26 and 36, and to be honest, it sucks the life out of you. You know, you're entertaining every day. Like, it was like having 100 people for dinner every single day. And all my friends, they were out partying, getting married, having babies, and I was working. Yeah.
Well, starting at 26, it's young. It's challenging.
I was very young. Yes.
What during your career in the restaurant business and then moving to spa, what was the biggest challenges you overcome which help you to move forward?
Challenge is actually, in the end, running a business is all about your crew. It's your family, and how to manage that best. And you know, I was very young when I was in the restaurant business, and at that time I think we were probably about 30 to 50 staff, and to be able to combine, well, not so much combine, but to be able to assess the different personalities. You've got the chefs, you've got the wait staff, you've got the bar, some are prima donnas, some aren't, and you know, managing that is a challenge at such a young age.
That's true. That's true. 26. I mean, I was traveling around.
Exactly.
I quit my corporate life at 25, and then I went traveling.
And then traveling. Which is what most people were doing. They were like, but I was working. Yeah.
How was your parents reacting on it? Like, was there a lot of support from them?
Initially, my parents were not happy about. I'm of Indian descent, you know. At 26, I should have been married, making babies, not curries. So they were like, they weren't really thrilled initially, but you know, parents accept whatever their kids do.
Yeah. What inspired you to start the spa and to get to the wellness business?
So what would happen with an Indian restaurant was I used to travel to India to recruit chefs. And with that, there were never direct flights. I'm quite old, you know, and so I'd stop either in Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, and having a couple of days stopover made me sort of enjoy what spa was about. And that was when I realized, this is what I want to do. I don't want to run restaurants. I don't want to go home stinking of food and things. And that is, so the concept was I'd actually figured out the concept or what I wanted to do before I sold.
So what was your first step when you started it?
First step was I went to India to look at the different styles. Well, actually to look at Ayurveda, because I was originally going to look at opening an Ayurvedic spa.
Okay.
And then it sort of organically changed, and then from a strong Indian spa, we became more Indonesian, and now I'd say we our strongest influences in a lot of our body work is from Indonesia.
You have a wonderful international cultural background, right? You
Yes.
was born in Kenya,
Africa,
right, and then moved in New Zealand and Indian region. How all of this background is helping you to running your business?
I find the best education in life is travel. Travel opens your mind. It makes you accept different cultures, different ways of living, and I think that has really helped me. Is being from living in different countries and speaking languages, and I think it's very important to be able to. My bahasa is not the best here, but I am very good at languages. So for that reason, because language is part of culture.
Right. I think food and language,
yes.
it helps you to understand the culture better than everything.
And it breaks barriers.
Yes,
it really does. It opens a lot of doors.
That's true. That's true. In terms of managing your teams, how many people do you have now across? You have several spas in New Zealand,
yes,
right? In Indonesia, in Bali.
Yes.
And plus you have this beautiful school which you recently opened, right? Like how many in total people?
I think we're nearly going to hit 500.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we're a big team. We're a big family.
That's a very big family.
It is.
What do you think helping you to because like when I'm thinking about Spring Spa, you know, as your customer for many years,
right, yes.
It's exceptional customer service. I think this is the first what's coming in my mind when I'm thinking about Spring. And the staff which is working there, I'm usually going to the Spring Spa in Canggu. You know, there is the same people what's been there nearly since the beginning. Like the reception girls, like, and they always remember your name. They remember what you were doing last time, you know, they remember you having a kids, mom was visiting or whatever else. So what's helping you? What is the secret to manage this team, to hold it together across, considering again all these differences in the cultural, religion, nationalities, what you have working for you?
The secret, well, there is no secret really. It's running a business is, I always say doing a shift is to try and make as less mistakes as you can. But if you have happy staff, they will exude that love, and also it's very important for them to love the brand. And we have some incredible managers, so as much as like I can't take credit, it's the managers. They love the brand even more. They are part of the brand DNA, and they exude the same love onto all the staff, so they feel that if you are part of Spring, you have, it's like there's the mum, the dad, we are a big family, and there is also that, I mean, we are in the business of caring for others, but I think we need to care for ourselves just as importantly, so that we can give to our clients. How
do you taking care about your team? Like how do you giving them this love? Because that's a lot of people, right? And it's a big team which is located in a different locations. Right, across the Indonesia and New Zealand. How do you find these resources in yourself, first of all?
We have managers for each location, but we also have from Andy, our CEO, and myself, we have a very strong open door policy. So it's not like you'd never have to make an appointment to see us or anything like that. We're very inclusive. Our doors are always open, whether it's a personal problem or a professional problem, we are always there. You know, and I mean, I sometimes get Facebook messages and things like that from staff, and I'm always, I mean, not just myself, but the whole management team is always there.
Wonderful. Did you ever have a moment of giving up?
No, I never give up.
Oh,
No.
wow.
No such thing. No such phrase in my dictionary. No.
That's wonderful. How about wellness? What does it means for you, and like how is it implemented in your daily life?
Wellness is a very interesting word, because wellness, especially after COVID, would probably be one of the most overused words or phrases that has come up. And you can't, there's so many, the thing is, with wellness, there's not just what is wellness, there's financial wellness, there's emotional wellness, there's social wellness, there's spiritual wellness. And how do you define wellness? Is wellness getting a health check every year, not smoking, not drinking? So with wellness, I think you've got to not just say, there's so many facets of it, and it's a matter of managing that, like avoid stress. I mean, I swim. If I feel that I'm getting a little bit stressed, I make sure that I swim. I always call it my 30 minutes moment of God. So every morning I wake up at about 6 o'clock and I put my mantras, my bhajans on, and swim. And for me, that is I have that proximity with nature and with God, and that's how I start my day, and that alleviates any stress for the day. But there are so many different types of wellness that you can't actually pinpoint, you know. People, as a spa owner, people think, gosh, you know, you must have a massage every day or a facial every day. I wish I could say I did. I do a lot more here than back in New Zealand. But again, it's a job for me. It really is. Even when I'm in my spas, as much as I'm trying to get relaxed, I'm always thinking, what's the crack? Why is the sticker on the air conditioner? You're always looking,
Right.
because it's your workplace.
Yeah, I think as the owner of the business, you cannot completely let it go.
No, and sometimes I actually go somewhere else, because at least if I'm in someone else's spa, I can switch off.
You need to think, how do they doing this and that, and why those towels are here.
Exactly. No, because we always benchmark against ourselves.
Talking about the spring school, what you started,
Yes.
and like this beautiful building where we are here today, what is the main idea behind that, and your goals to achieve with that?
Spring is, the school is twofold. It's really about educating, and it's an education facility, but it's also a space where we're giving back. So what we would like to do with the spring, what we intend to do with spring school, is we would like to offer free training to underprivileged people, and so we'll bring them here. It's part of it. It's like they can turn your life around, you know. Let's say we had someone that was underprivileged, they came through, they'd be educated through spring school, they could then intern, they could work for us at Springs, but they also have an opportunity of being transferred to New Zealand, which for a lot of these people would not happen. So it's our way of wanting to give back to the community.
What is Bali for you now?
Bali's home. Bali is my heart, it's my home. My first visit here was in 2003. I bought in Canggu in 2006. When I'm away from Bali for a month or two, I come back and I breathe it in. It's oxygen for me. I absolutely adore the island, the people, the culture. There's everything about Bali. I should be brand ambassador for Bali. I love it so much.
I'm sure you would do a great job for it. I mean, Spring Spa, I think, is already doing a great job for it, because it's becoming a very iconic destination in spa and wellness, right? And this is the ultimate getaway.
Bali is
What
yes.
you're thinking about, and it's just the perfect addition to Bali itself. In a hospitality business is not the easiest one, right? And I mean,
even though with all this beauty and glamorous things like what we see in the film, behind there is actually quite a lot of like hard things. It's a tough business, especially if we're talking about the restaurants or hotels. Maybe restaurants is not that bad, but the restaurants where you start from with is definitely not the easiest one, and it's mainly male dominated business. As a woman, have you ever experienced any hardships with this, any discriminations or underestimations like being in this business?
No, because I won't tolerate that. I've got a lot of grit, and I think when you exude that confidence, it's even, you know, it is what it is. I am who I am, and I've never been discriminated. I've actually been discriminated against more for colour, not here in Bali, but in New Zealand, rather than sex.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think because I'm quite a strong person and exude that, it's like, no, you don't take, how do I put this? Like I'm in it for a serious angle, so no, I haven't been discriminated for that.
To having this confidence in the young age, I think there is a lot of work also coming from the family.
Well, and to all the women out there, do you know, don't ever think I'm a woman. You are a person, and you are who you are, and go and show the world what you're made of. It doesn't matter, you know, he, she, them, whatever. It shouldn't matter. You are that individual person. And I was born in the 60s, so it was a lot more discriminatory in those days. Now, I mean, it's a different playing field now, but you know, hold your own and be confident and always back yourself is what I would really recommend.
Who is your biggest, or what is your biggest support right now?
My biggest support is my team here. Yep, they are, absolutely. My management team, I mean, I'm sort of like not as active operationally anymore, and having a wonderful CEO like Andy at the helm, and his team, his management team they are my support. Yeah.
I think you are very great with delegating the things. Was it easy for you always?
No, it wasn't. It's hard, you know, when you've when you've brought up a child from being a baby, it's hard to let go. And a few years ago, I had to start thinking, I can't do everything, and letting go. And that was tough, because then you're always thinking, I could do it better, I can do this, I could do this like this. But you know, once you do, you go through a different journey in your career, and it's very nice. Yeah.
I think for the business owners, it's always a big question, how to let go.
Well, it's your child, you know?
Yes.
You're trusting your child with someone else, and you know, there's that protection. And being I was a helicopter pilot, a parent over this business, so there was a transition, and it was difficult, but you know, it was about a decade ago that it started happening.
You know, you've been in Bali for over 20 years now, right? With all this recent development, do you think it's influenced a lot on your customers' behaviors and the choices what they made, or it's still the same?
Bali's changed a lot, and it's progressive. But you know, I think with Bali, I think we've got to be careful that we don't go too far, and always remember we are guests. The island belongs to the Balinese. We have to respect their culture, their ways, and not try and take over and create. We don't want another city here. We still want those beautiful rice fields. You still want to be able to be close to nature, have the chenangs on the road, and my fear is of losing that. You would lose the essence of what is Bali and why people come to it.
Right. That's I think the biggest fear for many people.
It is.
In the business, who's been in the business here for quite a while.
I wasn't here. I was stuck in New Zealand for COVID, because the thing was, I could come here, but I couldn't go back because the New Zealand laws were so difficult, and I've got aging parents, so it was very difficult for me to make that choice. So I missed it 3 years or 2.5 years.
So you've been away for that long?
Yeah, I came back in 2022.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's been quite. Oh my God. Yeah. Just being away, right? Like.
Well, we all lived through history, didn't we, with COVID?
Yeah. How about this? Like, you also start the property business, right? As far as I know. How did you come to this?
The funniest thing about the property business, that started during COVID, because everything was shut here. Like, our turnover was down 98%, and it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. And I remember speaking to my business partner, and he's in construction, and he was telling me about a client of his who'd started with 4 villas, 4 became 8, 12, 16. And so I said, we should be doing this, you know? He goes, no, I don't want to do all that. I can't do the Instagram and all that. And I said, well, I'll do that. I've got nothing to do. My shops are shut. And that's how the two of us got together. So Karet Cons, which is the construction business, and Spring Villas, was something that came out of COVID.
Yeah, that's actually funny, because so many good things actually came out of
COVID. Yes.
When we were, I think, so on the bottom of the desperate. Our business was shut down.
Absolutely.
And we were like, oh God, what are we gonna do? You know, now like there is like absolutely nothing.
It was a pivot, and you pivoted outside your comfort zone. My comfort zone is spas. Definitely not property, but you do.
How do you feel about that?
I love spas. And I think, people say, will you retire? I don't think I'll ever retire, because when you love something, when you love doing something, it's never work, it's joy. So for me, coming to work is joy. Property business is good, but it's not joy. It's a job. So that's the difference.
I think you can't retire from something you really love.
Yeah, but I don't know, do we need to retire in life?
No, I don't
if you're physically, mentally capable, who needs it?
I think it's that stereotypes, right, what we have in every society, like on the West, mostly.
It's a concept from the West, but I don't believe in retirement.
If you're doing something what you really love, and you just keep doing that.
Doing it, and if your body allows you, your mind allows you, just keep doing it.
What is the plans? If I can ask about your future plans.
Our future plans for the company? We have just we've just taken over a relatively large site in Ubud. So immediately for the next year, we'll be looking at opening in Ubud, which is probably going to be our largest spa. And then we have our own skincare and body care range that we're working on at the moment, and of course the school. So launching the school is one of our primary things, and that's just in the near future.
Any plans for another destination in Southeast Asia?
I'd always say we're always looking. My angle would be looking towards Thailand or Vietnam. And possibly even India.
That's beautiful. For people, for entrepreneurs who are thinking to start any hospitality business in Bali and Indonesia, what would be your advice to them?
Always hire good people and look at their clients and their background, because there's so many people here that will give you advice on how to start up, but it's not quite the right advice, like the company setups and things. So always use established people that have good DNA behind them.
What is your main criteria to pick up the people when you're hiring them? Like, what are you looking into?
I think we hire for fit rather than skill, because skill we can train. They need to fit with our ethoses. They need to feel the love that we feel for the brand. Yeah, that's what we really look for. And attitudes make very important. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Very nice having you.
Very, very interesting to talk with you
Not
today.
at all. A pleasure.
And I wish more destinations open
I hope so
everywhere
too.
for the spring spa.
Makasih.